I would like to talk on something which is very dear to me and to my wealth, which is India and its progress, and its economic progress. We have had a new government. There is a lot of hope, there is a lot of doubt. Right? But I, for one, feel that we are entering a phase of growth, which, when we look at it 20 years hence, will be unprecedented in the economic history of the world. We may not overtake China, but it will be first time that in a free world and with due adherence to laws, you will have this kind of growth. And a lot of people ask me, what is it that this government can do? What is it that Mr. Modi can do? I said that nothing must be done. The vegetables are there, the masala is there, the oil is there, the gas is there, the vessels are there. He only wanted somebody who could cook, who is the catalyst. And as I look at India, what is India? India is chaos. Growth in history has never come out of order, it has come only out of chaos. America was and is still chaos. Right? And if you look at it, we have all the ingredients of growth, whether it is the skills that people want, the demographics, the natural resources, the democracy which ensures slow but long-term growth, or growth which could run over centuries. I think all of that is there. This has been created by history. It is created by mistake. You cannot change the culture of India. You cannot change the skills of the people. And the skills does not only belong to those who are resident abroad. It's genetic. Indians are the most diabetic-prone people in the world. If you are of Indian origin, whether you live in Germany or you live in India or you live in France or you live in America or you live in Mauritius, you are the most diabetic-prone race in the world. So therefore, I think Indians are genetically diabetic-prone. That's why I think Indians are genetically skilled people. Most countries in the world, or all countries in the world, have had the biggest growth during the most favorable demographics in their demographic evolution. What was the baby boomers in America? What is the challenge facing Russia today? What is the challenge to Europe today? What is the challenge to Japan today? It's demographics. 25% of the world's workforce in the next 20 years is going to come from India. I think democracy is extremely important, and we have a deeply entrenched democracy. Right? And I think we have vast natural resources. Oil is found in basins. We struck in Assam in 1879, we are still finding oil. Then we struck in Bombay, then we struck in Cambay, then we struck in Godavari, right? And then we struck in Rajasthan. I don't think God can be so mean that, you will have oil only in the oil fields of the Arab world and not in the oil fields of Rajasthan. So I think we have vast natural resources, we have huge coal reserves, only we have not followed the right policies in trying to tap these resources. And it is demonstrated that in India, if you change, we had the fastest telecom revolution of any country in the world. Once the government, made policies which were suitable for growth. So I think there is going to be huge cooperation. And a person was saying that, you will think of the consumption needs of 125 crore people. Right? The biggest problem in a lot of places is demand. So I remain extremely bullish economically on this country because of factors which are irreversible, and the election of this government is nothing else but the maturing of Indian democracy. I don't think that even Mr. Narendra Modi in his dreams knew in December that he'll get 282 seats. Right? But people wanted development. He's made a very important role in his speech in Parliament. That at least now development, states are competing to have better development. Right? So I see India, I think if you think that India is not going to grow 9 to 10% post say 2017, 18, 18, 19 for a decade or two, I think you're very bearish. That's my prediction. I reserve the right to be wrong. And as far as markets are concerned, in a country in which you save $600 billion a year, you don't invest $6 billion in equity. In America, 30% of savings flows into stock markets. This 600 billion is going to be 1 trillion by 2020-21. In 1993, 17% of savings came into the stock market. In 2007, 11%. If 10% of the savings is to come, the stock markets are going to get $100 billion a year, local money. So mathematics is a science, is not an art. This has all happened, right? And we have created the institutions, whether regulation, whether the institution tap the money, whether the mutual funds, the insurance. So I see no reason why India will not grow and why stock markets will not boom. Again, I reserve the right to be wrong. And now this is the reason why I am very plain and simple reasons. And I am no economist. I am Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Share Bazaar, Road Chap. I only know common sense and whatever little I read. And then he has asked me a question: how do I analyze an investment? A lot of people think that I have an investment philosophy. I think I'm too young to have philosophy. You'll find most investors have white hair, right? And they get better with time. And therefore, the quest to learn is a journey and not a destination. So I think rather than saying I have a philosophy, I think I have an investment approach or a thought. The first thing I look at is opportunity. Without opportunity, there can be no economic activity, and without economic activity, there can be no profitability. For example, when I look at Colgate, I look at the present demand for toothpaste in India and the potentiality for the growth in demand for toothpaste. Infosys became Infosys partly because of what Infosys was. But Infosys also became Infosys. Well, Infosys did not create the internet, or Infosys never foresaw the explosion in the use of information technology. But that was one of the key ingredients and reasons why Infosys, TCS, Wipro and other software companies were successful. Why? Because the opportunity just expanded. Right? So I first look at opportunity. If you look at, I made a lot of money in a company called Praj. Why? Because they used to make ethanol plants. The opportunity for ethanol just went through the roof. So first thing, I look for opportunity. Unfortunately, I think retail is one industry which has one of the highest opportunities in this country. And I call it external. You can do internal things to create demand, but it is too taxing, and that's not the favorite place where I want to invest. I want to invest where demand naturally exists. Then this is a very important part of my investment. I invested in Rallis. I made a large investment because I think there is no question that the usage of pesticides and seeds and all of the agricultural inputs has to go through the roof, because you cannot increase food production without increasing productivity. And this is one of the only means of increasing productivity. One of the main means. So the opportunity for Rallis is going to go through the roof. Then I look at competitive ability. In a capitalist society or in a free society, you cannot make profits just one opportunity. You got to be competitive, you got to be profitable. Those profits can be driven by technology, they can be driven. I think culture is very important in a company. They can be driven by a culture. They can be driven by barriers which could arise because of maybe taxes, location, capital. So I try and try and understand a company and zero on in its competitive ability or what it already has in relation to the opportunity and the price. Third, what I look at is, my friend said, should I invest in large cap companies or small cap companies? I said, no, we should invest in the small cap companies which will become the large caps. What do you need for that? You need scalability. And believe me, I saw Maruti car, it said, when I grow up, will I be a Mercedes? I think they're prophetic words. How does a small organization grow into a large organization? Right? When I invested in Titan at 500 crores, I made a lot of money partly because Titan today is an 11,000 crore company. And great are the challenges of scaling, capital, ambition. Especially small organizations I've seen, entrepreneurs don't want to give up control. They don't want systems, they don't want processes. They still want to work on intuition. Right? So therefore, I think working on intuition up to a point is extremely important. Right? But you've got to have some systems and processes. They don't want to delegate power. Opportunity may be limited. Competitive intensity may be very high. So it is very, very important to judge whether the company will be able to scale. I call it scalability. Then of course I look for management, and then how do you find out whether you have good management or not? First thing I see is, let's say, in the market, does the market play the market? Does the management play the market? And then in one meeting or two meetings, it's really difficult to judge. But we investors, we invest I invest in a jewelry company, I invest in a software company, I invest in a hotel company, I invest in a footwear company. Finally, I think we invest out of informed ignorance. We have some information, but that is very limited in relation to what our ignorance is. So finally, we invest out of intuition. So then you have to intuitively feel, and every management carries a reputation. I think that's what is also very important is corporate governance. What kind of corporate governance? And I define corporate governance as how the company views all stakeholders, whether society, whether employees, whether shareholders, right? And of course, I believe in investing in a lot of key companies. Why I call them key companies? They should carry two characteristics. Their capital investment and profitability ratio should be low. I mean, they should need very low capital in order to enhance growth, right? And they should buy on credit and sell in cash. I think if a company carries these two characteristics, it has the highest P in the markets. You go to you should take the top 50 Ps in the stock market, price earning ratios. 45 companies will carry this characteristic, and they should be, EVA positive. And last but not the least, sir, what I buy is important. At what price I buy is extremely important. I made a lot of money. In 1999, I bought 5% United Breweries and United Spirits for about 6 crores of rupees. If I had held on to that investment, today it would be worth 2,000 crores. And everybody told me, of course, I sold at 50, 60 crores. Everybody told me, you're buying William Malia shares, he's a thief, he's this, he's that. Nobody's ever gained from him. But to my common sense, I was getting 55% of the Indian liquor industry, not for a market cap, but for an enterprise value of 200 crores. And for a person who liked to have 4 drinks a day, he knew the value of that money, of that value. I mean, you can't believe the Indian liquor industry, both beer and whiskey, and every item, 55% at an enterprise value of 200 crores. To my common sense, I said, no, I don't want to. So it's important what you buy. And a lot of people, Hindustan Liver, talked about FMCG. If I tell you, you'll be shocked. In 2001, at the index of 2900, the price of liver was 327. Liver did not exceed that price for 11 years. And the index went from 2900 to 22,000. Liver exceeded that price only in 2012 or 13, I think. So if you had invested in liver for 11 years except dividends, you had no returns when the market had gone up 7, 8 times. That was because in the precedent period, liver had a real run-up. Right? So I think it's important what you buy. And these are facts. This is not Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's opinion. Right? It's important what you buy. It's more important what price you buy. And I invite you all to be investors in Indian stock markets. I think you will make far more money. And I think everything in life is a matter of attitude. Normally I used to go to Jeffries in the evening. And there I used to have a drink. So a lot of people would trouble me, what tips, and I'll tell them, no, please let me hear. Some pretty girl comes, I can't say no. So some pretty female came, she asked me for a tip. I gave her, she said, how much will it go up? I said, it will double in 3 years. Only double in 3 years? I gave her the address of the race course. Right? So therefore, I look at it, I thought in life so many times, why should I not invest outside markets? Or why should I not run a business? I want to tell you, forget what market has given. Market has given 18% compounded return from 1985 when I joined the market. But where in the hell do I get 15 to 16% tax-free return, my money lying all with Standard Chartered? I bought a property, I want to sell shares worth 100 crores. I don't have to go to a broker, saab kya bhav hai, find, in the morning, take 10 days I had 100 crores. So ease of liquidity, right? Ease of borrowing. You can borrow against securities. And 15%, return in India cannot be below nominal GDP growth. Yeah. Economy is going to be 1.5 times nominal GDP growth. Right? So I invite all of you all, not with an expectation of I get double, treble and all. Right? You have compounding, you get 18% return. Money is double your money in 4 years. Right? And no black, no white, everything is white here. And my friend in Dubai, he says, I ask him income tax. He says, wo kya hota hai? So I also tell people when they ask me income tax, I say, wo kya hota hai? So the stock market dividends are tax-free. Long-term capital gain is tax-free. Of course, trading income, which most of you all will not do, is taxed with normal income. So I invite you all to come and join our markets. We'll have a party. right? Join the party and believe in this nation both and prosper and believe in this nation both for your prosperity and the nation's prosperity. Of course, I will seem that I'm talking like a politician, but I'm not. And it was interesting to read there, what is the retail for inclusive growth? I hope all this is not part of your CSR spending, huh? Right? Now when I come to retail, I think the opportunity is unbelievable. I mean, I don't know, $500 billion is the retail market in India, and organized is what, 8%?
Yeah.
So if that, I just calculate like this, that 500 will be 1 trillion, and we investors always calculate this, and 8 will go to 20. So say 500 by 8 is 40 billion, and 20 in 1 trillion will be 200 billion. So I'll be disappointed if you don't are not 5 times the size in 5, 6, 7 years. Yes. So I think that's the opportunity. It's unbelievable. Then I feel that, but the problem is that the gestation periods are long. Any retailer to become profitable, the courtship periods are really long there, right? And then all of the courtship don't end up in marriages. So we don't know finally what will happen to the retailer. Then the third part also is, I think, but the opportunity is going to be there for a good period of time. What I also feel is that the competitive intensity is going to go up. And you know, it's a very peculiar thing that retailing is at a national level in each country a consolidated business. But internationally, there is no great retailer. I mean, Aldo in Germany is, you must have heard of Aldo in Germany. I don't know whether you've heard of him or not. Aldi, I don't know what the exact name is. Then you have Tesco in France. You Carrefour in France. Tesco in Britain. Of course, you have Walmart and so many other dealers in America. But none has been able to dominate the world. In India also, I feel competitive intensity at the national level will be low. But the indigenous retailer also is a very worthy competitor. And you know, one thing we got to excel, and Bhaskar Bhatt told me this, and I agree with him, that unless and until retailers are really, what is organized retail able to give a consumer? Able to give them comfort, give them choice, right? But are your costs lower than the indigenous retailer? And that can only come either if there is an excess investment of capital, right? Or if you bring down the supply chain costs. I don't think that extracting discount from Hindustan Liver, is not benefiting anyone in the end really. Right? So I think it's a difficult industry to differentiate about it. I think focus should be on the shopping experience. A lot of people are now saying that business is not about what you sell but what people experience. Also, I think their brands help. If you have established brands and you're retailing them, right? But one thing I personally feel I'm somewhat disturbed, that I think first thing a retailer should do is work for shop level profitability. Right? And here a lot of retailers entered with the idea that top line is everything. Mr. Adigodis says, you were saying somewhere, that top line is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is reality. So instead of focusing on the supply chain, on the free cash flows, I think inventory management is the most important part of any retailer's cost, both in terms of dead stock and the carrying costs. Right? So I think the attitudes because everybody thought, every retailer thought that he is the son-in-law of the stock market, that investors will keep giving him money. But the fact is that if you look at the history of businesses, no business has succeeded beyond a point unless and until they generate your own resources to grow. I mean, any successful organization in the world can be funded by investor money up to a level. But this attitude of top-line growth, lack of shop-level profitability, size being the only pinnacle, without attention to the customer experience, I think it's caused a lot of problems in retail. Right? What else? The learnings are that you got to have good leadership, you got to think differently, you got to have good culture. I think quality and excellence. And Titan is a marketing machine. If you talk to, there was a consultant who used to deal with Titan, she told me that whenever you talk to Titan, you talk about money, they will fall half asleep. But the moment you talk of marketing, jargon and all, you should see, बोलते हैं ना उनकी आत्मा उठ जाती है, marketing. So they are marketing in their blood. I think the best is yet to come. What else can I say about retailing? I think it's a great opportunity. The winners will emerge in 5 to 10 years. It may be better to invest more when the winners emerge, right? There are going to be a lot of more specialized retailers. And don't forget one thing that I like. You must invest in retailing. Why? Because if you look at the billionaires list of any company, of any country, 2 people are always present: real estate and retailers. And I tell Mr. Damani, that's why you buy the shops, and that's why you retail them there. So retail has got many more billionaires to come. I've already exceeded my time. I don't know what else to say. But differentiate, don't be me too. Give the shopper an experience. I think India is a very price conscious market. I think Bata's change is remarkable, what they have done in the last 2 years. A lot to learn from that. I don't know much about clothing and retailing, so I never bought a shirt for myself in life. Right? So I can't speak about it. Anyway, thank you. And thank you for inviting me and listening to me.